everybody, DeathsStalker here. So if you remember the MotoGP race a couple weeks ago when the Ducatis haven't been doing very well, well, there were some very interesting interviews that popped up on the MotoGP and various other websites from Ducati. And as you know, the Ducatis are pretty hot and cold this season. Like they're not dominating anywhere. It's just and the riders, of course, like poor Jack Miller, is just having nothing but bad luck this season. And Ducati has finally come out and said that they have done a poor job of adapting to the new Michelin rear tire. Dobie's been complaining about it all season long. They just can't seem to get their bike hooked up to it. And the interesting thing was the fact that actually Ducati admitted it was their fault, not the riders, why everything was just not working well. Now, the reason I'm saying that's surprising is that, you know, Valentino Rossi switched over to Ducati back when Ducati came up with a new carbon fiber frame, and, you know, worked really hard, complained a lot, but nothing ever got done. Nicky Hayden, the same problem. Casey Stoner, when he won the World Championship on the 2007 bike, they came up with a new bike in 08, and he just couldn't ride it. And he was complaining about it. And eventually Casey left Ducati and went back to Honda and won another World Championship. And Casey did an interview earlier this season, and they were talking about Ducati, and he was saying that it didn't matter what the rider said. If the engineers couldn't see it in the data, it wasn't a problem. And I'm sort of thinking this is what's been going on for the last couple of years, is that you know, the riders have been giving them feedback and they just don't listen. You know, the last you know, 3 previous seasons, Ducati lost to Honda. Now, there's no question they've got the fastest motorcycles around. Like, you watch on any track where they have a long straightaway, the Ducatis just motor by. Like, Suzuki's are the nicest handling bikes, but they're also the slowest. And it's almost like they're missing a gear in their transmission. That's how fast the Ducatis go by them. But when it comes to going around a corner, like especially I was watching the last couple of races in Aragon, it was like they weren't turning at all. Like, everybody was turning inside of them. And I know Dobie's been complaining about that, because if you watch a lot of these last corner battles between him and Marquez, you know, Mark was turning, like making the Hondas do things that the Ducatis could only dream of. And if Ducati could have actually got their bike to turn, there's no question they would have won the World Championships. But you can only, you know, having a lot of horsepower only does you so good to a point. Now, it looks now with, you know, how Dobie's been doing the last couple of races, that I think the championship's pretty much over for them, and there's no other Ducati rider even has a number chance to get there. So that's kind of sad. But, you know, it's just sometimes, you know, you have problems, and I probably put this up to upper management, because if they're not working to develop stuff properly, you know, how are they going to win championships? And there's rumors, of course, right now that VW is looking at maybe selling Ducati. So if they have a new buyer, that, you know, they might not even be in MotoGP a couple years from now. But maybe if they do, they'll have some better acceptance to changes. So with only a couple races left in the season, you know, we're going to see what happens. But next season, you're not looking at a new engine. They have to use the same engine as the previous year. So Ducati's really going to have to step up and try to fix their chassis and handling to make their motorcycles handle. Yamaha's has a problem as well with tire wear and also setup, because the Yamahas are either hot or cold. They either work really well or they're just terrible. And next season, Marc Marquez will be back and hopefully 100% fit. And Alex has now proven that they've sort of figured out what was wrong with the Honda at the start of the season. And that could be scary for everybody. So I'm kind of hoping Ducati can get their act together. It's too bad Dovey, you know, like, he's a guy who, like, he's put the time in and the effort, and I would have been thrilled if he won the World Championship this season. Like, 3 races, it's still mathematically potential, but things would have to go horribly wrong for the other riders for it to happen. But this might have been his last chance to get a World Championship, which is too bad. So let me know what you think. If you ever watch some of the races, you know, you can tell those bikes are fast, but man, they turn like a bus. Anyways, DeathsStalker signing off.